And finally, in recent years, we have seen, in response to the police shootings that I have mentioned earlier, the rise of BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement. And the purpose of this was to draw attention to the fact that African Americans are disproportionately affected by police violence. And this was met with sort of a counter movement called All Lives Matter, suggesting that, well, violence isn't necessarily something that, you know, only affects African Americans. We need to talk about how everyone matters. And I'm not going to say that's wrong, but it's based on sort of a flawed premise that is illustrated in this cartoon here. Uh, The reason why I say that there is a problem with hashtag All Lives Matter is because it somewhat misses the point. In the same way that you would not hose down a house that wasn't on fire, because all houses matter, um, because that would ignore the fact that there is a house on fire here. It's to counter Black Lives Matter with All Lives Matter is to miss the fact that African Americans are disproportionately the victim of various societal ills, discrimination, police violence, and other things. And so to counter Black Lives Matter with All Lives Matter is to ignore the root of the issue, which is the role of race in society. Next, I'm going to talk housing policy. Now, we like to think of Jim Crow segregation as a 1930s, 40s, and 50s era relic. However, at this point in time, schools and neighborhoods are actually more segregated now than they ever were at the height of the Jim Crow era in the United States. And there's an institutional explanation for this, largely due to a practice called redlining. And I'm going to show you another video now, which also explains the process of redlining. It's also from the show Adam Ruins Everything.